Three, two, one. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bammsters Rated R Show. Here is Drac, I think he's over there, and myself, G, for in upcoming games for May. It is April 29, or it should be, or it will be. Yes, Drac, you're still pointing? Yeah, it's April 29, should be. It is the games for May, where we have some witches, some populations that went to zero, some wavy rockets, plague hunters, a drone construction game, why not? And basically everything else that you will want, including bridge building game.
So everything leading up to the apocalypse and the recovery afterwards.
Yeah. We even have a united scientist army.
Well, I think before we get into our top 10 indie games coming out in May, or at least that are scheduled to come out in May, because with all the delays and stuff, who knows? It's possible they could get pushed off. Although I've often thought that in the current situation that indie games are probably in a better position almost to kind of keep their schedule, just because of the fact that a lot of the indie game developers that we've talked to are in the past have worked in their home offices or in their somewhere in their homes, whatnot. So,
a counterpoint. We are doing the Bammsters Rated R Show here on a reduced schedule. You'll notice that we're taking some of the weeks off. The larger outlets have actually downsized quite a lot. A couple have been closing in recently, and that means exposure for video games has gone down. A lot of the outlets have booked more interviews than they're showing up for. I'm hearing from various developers that they're simply not getting the coverage that they did in the past, or the various outlets, again, the bigger ones, Kotaku, IGN, etc., that they've scaled down a lot. So right now it's actually painful to release because it's difficult getting the attention. Word of mouth, on the other hand, seems to work quite well. People are desperately looking for games. And
True.
All the AAAs are stepping up and giving out games, which again makes it difficult being an indie. So, Gesundheit.
Well, before we jump into that top 10 indie list in May, I think there was one that we might have neglected to mention from April. That was a really fun one that we did a prior interview on, Fort Triumph. I can't remember if we mentioned that in April or not, but
I don't think it was mentioned.
Yeah, this is
we effed up, mate.
Yeah, this is a turn-based combat, like fantasy style. The graphics are kind of cute and cartoony. We'll make sure there's a link also to the interview that we did like way back on this one. But that one came out on the 16th of April for only $25, so $24.99. If you're into turn-based games, if you like the cutesy art style, go check that out.
I like the way that the environment plays in, the way you can affect things via the environment.
Yeah, kicking over pillars.
It isn't that other games don't do it, they just do it, I'm gonna say, better. There's some nice cascade effects that you can play with. So definitely get that one. And it's on Utomic, we should mention that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to pay the full price, get Utomic and go that way.
Yeah, or if you're already a member of Utomic. Yep.
Yeah.
So, from that, jumping right into the list in May, first one up on the 1st of May. G and I have some differing opinions on how this one may be pronounced. It's funny because, is it Ashina or Ashina?
See, every video game apparently needs to have a character named Ash. So, I'm guessing Ashina.
But yeah, Ashina the Red Witch Prologue. Now, this one is available on Steam. I haven't found anything saying whether or not this will be available on any consoles or anything like that. So, looks like just Steam. But if you want to know basically kind of like what kind of game this looks like, think of like the old school Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. To kind of top down, almost isometric, old school graphics. And, you play as this girl who, goes around. I guess she has some kind of witchy powers. I don't know. You put this one on the list, G. You go and...
Oh, see, I understand why you go, old Pokemon, Zelda, etc. games. I disagree. Visually, this is much more modern, but it's still pixel graphics.
Yeah.
So that's probably what you're picking up. The amount of colors they're putting into it, and that's one of those ways of measuring pixel graphics and pixel art. How many colors? Because the more colors, the much more effort is put into it, and they've been good in this one. It's nice, it's vibrant in the colors, it's clear in my opinion. And yeah, top down, walk around, explore things in a Zelda style. Sure, I'll give it that. It's just a prologue, which I think is interesting. More games are doing this now. There's a prologue, there's a start. There is expectations of chapters. Is that a right way of saying it? I think so. So we will hear more about Ashina the Red Witch and everything. And I can only assume that it's going to be very story-based, very heavy on learning about the world, because that's everything that we see with her interacting. It's a nice one where she's asking for dinner or what is for dinner, and you have to interact with ovens. Puzzle-based. That, very puzzle-centric. Have to figure out how to solve things. Standard for the genre, but it looks like this is going to be one of the slightly better ones.
All right, next up on the 5th of May, new hardcore survival, as they're calling it, RPG MMO, Population Zero. And that one looks like it has a price tag that you can pre-order for. There's a $20, $50, and $80 price tag that you can go in on this particular MMO. If you like, hardcore survival games, this is definitely one I'll pass on, because
I'm with you on that. Hardcore survival doesn't do it for me anymore. It's too much effort. I want to explore and run around and have fun, but I also want to be able to build some bases and set things up to defend.
I can see how the base building in games like this is fun, and I'm okay with that. It's all the little tickers, I don't want to freeze to death. Oh, I don't want to starve to death. I don't want to die of thirst. I don't want to. And on top of that, there's, your health and your stamina, and depending on whether or not they have weapon degradation, which is another pet peeve of mine with games. It's just, it's all these things that add too much work to the game to keep track of for me. But I know that there is definitely a section of folks out there, ARC people, I'm looking at you, who enjoy these kinds of games. So I will say that the character designs, the creature designs, and the world design definitely looks interesting. This is one I would love to just... Yeah, I'd love to just go around and explore.
Yeah, because it's fun. Steam actually says similar to games you played, and then it shows Subnautica, which is exactly a game where you can turn off all those annoying features. You can turn off the water lead, you can turn off damage, you can turn off whatever you want.
That was the thing.
When it's an MMO, that doesn't work, because why would you have people in the world that has it harder than others? But at the same time, you could segment the world, but then you shard your player base. No fun. And the prices you mentioned, they're standard for this kind of thing, I find. MMOs come out, and as they're approaching, you can buy access earlier than others, and you can do it at different levels. Sometimes it gives you earlier access, sometimes it gives you bonuses, a little bit of pay to win, perhaps. I didn't actually check what you get in this one, only that it is there. But I think, for me, it's a pass. But I would love to explore it in a much more calm setting. I'm old, I don't want to do PvP anymore.
Well, I mean, I don't get much into PvP. Occasionally, depending on the game, I'll play it. But for me, it's really the survival aspects of it. It's just too much work. I want to sit and play the game and focus on exploring and fighting the creatures and stuff in the game. I don't want to sit there and have to worry when I go into combat that the weapon I'm using is going to break, or finding supplies to repair my equipment and my weapons, or that I'm going to starve to death before I make it to the next town. That's, whatever. But the different levels, some of it comes with different types of resource packs, equipment. All 3 levels, I should say, give you access. They said that you're supposed to get a Steam key before launch on the 5th of May. So it's not like one level gets you earlier access than the other, at least not from what I'm seeing. It looks... Like I said, the game looks interesting. It's a world I'd love to explore.
Fair enough. And I'm with you. Want to explore? Don't want to do the survival. Should we take something that is a little bit more... somebody's nose? Yeah.
Okay.
Wavey the Rocket. Where you're a rocket that follows a sinus curve. No?
Yeah, that's the next one on the list for the 7th of May.
Yeah, but sinus.
It's a bad joke. It's really bad. I know you want me to laugh or something, but it's really bad.
No, I want you to groan.
Oh, well, that I can do.
That was better. It's a cute little game out of the UK. I think Scotland, actually, but just as UK. You play as a rocket people who are watching the video can see it, where you're constantly following this sine curve that you can then tweak, basically to tweak the frequency of it, and thereby change where you're flying and how fast and slow you're moving through a map, and you can even make it go backwards. Novel mechanic, it's different. I think it's going to be challenging. I think it's going to be really freaking annoying. But at the same time, I want to play it because I think I could do well. I won't, but I think I could. And it's one of those games where you can try it again and again to do better. So it's one of those go back, can you play it faster, can you get more points? All platformers have this, and even though you're flying, it's still a platformer. It's not, interestingly enough, a shooter. You don't shoot anything. So no shoot 'em up effects.
Well, I think you missed kind of an important point in the character design of the rocket that you're flying. This rocket is designed to look like a shark with sunglasses and headphones. So, kind of a fun design to it. But no, I think this is one of those games that will probably be the concept or the controls won't be that difficult to learn, but will be difficult to master.
Yeah.
So you'll get the gist of it within, a little bit of playing, but actually figuring out how you're going to be able to get through these levels quickly and efficiently and collect all the little bits along the way, that's going to be where the challenge comes in, and being able to do that faster and faster, yeah, for sure.
And it's fun to look at some of the maps where you can see the coins or whatever it is you're picking up follow that nice curve. So you can just line it up and then let it fly. Yeah. And then suddenly there's one where it's obvious that they follow a different curve, so you have to change in the middle of it. Or make a loop all the way back and do a figure eight.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that you can actually make it fold and go backwards or do a loop-de-loop kind of thing.
Yeah, there's one of the anime GIFs that show him actually do a figure eight or an infinity sign.
It's a GIF.
Nope, it's GIF.
Alright, and on that note, since a lot of folks are out of work, maybe looking for something to do, maybe simulate having a job, I don't know. I was really reaching, trying to figure out how these kinds of games aren't necessarily my games. I like to explore, but this one feels like work. Hydroneer also comes out on the 7th, or I should say, I shouldn't be saying these games come out, I should say they're scheduled to come out on the 8th of May, according to Steam. And it's a mining and base building sandbox game. So, basically you dig for gold, other types of resources, build up your company, the whole mining operation and everything, build up your base, and...
Well, it's called Hydroneer, so perhaps you're looking for water, no?
Well, maybe you're using water to mine at some point?
Perhaps. Yeah, it's they talk about using hydro-powered machines. So exactly what that involves, I can't say, but it sounds like you're building bigger and bigger machines and then using those to mine.
Well, there are some
mine
pictures
more.
where you've like going down into a mine, and it looks like there are water pipes that have almost like a hose bib on the end or something like that. And so I almost wonder if you're using the water as like a drill to get through the rock, high pressured water or something like that.
Good question. The only option we have is to try it, and since you're sitting at home and doing nothing,
Says who?
and I mentioned earlier the is this game relevant for you in Steam? And with me it goes, yeah, because you like prison architecting, kingdom, and castles. So if it's anywhere like those, yep, I'll play it.
This is one of your types of games.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
Steam
good.
is saying, is the game relevant to you, me?
Yes.
I'm
okay.
not looking at your Steam account, Drag. That's not how it works. I could, but I'm not. Exactly why apparently the developers call Foul Ball Hangover? No idea. Look. Foul Ball Hangover. So yeah, build stuff, mine stuff, build more stuff. That infinite loop. It's sort of what it is. You seem quiet. It's not for you.
No. I think I reached the limits of what to say on that one.
One downside, it's single player. I want to play these kind of things with friends. Track doesn't want to play, but that's okay, because I said friends. Up next. Still May 7th, supposedly, theoretically. Enemy on Board for Windows. Where you're playing on a spaceship with, 5 other players? So it's sort of co-op, but sort of PvP. Because out of the 6 players, 2 of them are aliens. And you basically have to get points, either by doing things or not doing things to the other side. And then discover who the alien is. And I like this idea for starters. It requires that I have 5 friends, which is pushing it a bit. But then you kind of have to lie and cheat and sneak up on your friends. Yeah, why not? It's definitely a voice chat and Desperado game.
Well, yeah, they talk about different ways to sow seeds of confusion or whatnot through like voice chat and stuff. So, it's interesting. And usually games like this are 4 versus 1 or 5 versus 1. So the fact that the shape-shifting aliens that are all murderous and trying to kill everybody else, that you have a teammate is kind of interesting. One thing I didn't quite see, I was still looking for. Do you know if you're one of these murderous aliens, who the other murderous alien is?
Yeah, you know who you are, and that's it.
Okay.
But then you have to figure it out.
You don't exactly have a teammate then.
No. But also, from everything I've seen, it's not so much that you're a murderous alien, as much as you have to get evolution points by doing things. Sorry, my Desperado's repeating on me.
I don't know. You say that, yet some of the imagery has people sneaking up on other characters with knives, and it actually even says try to figure out who among them are actually murderous shape-shifting aliens. So
yeah, but if you see some of the things to get evolution points, one of them, there's 3 types of aliens, at least in the release. Sort of latch on with an energy beam to one of the humans. So it has to know, or has to guess, this is a human, latch on, and then only the alien sees that energy beam where you drain life force or whatever from the human, but the human itself doesn't see it, but the other players can, and that way you can get revealed.
Oh.
But that's one of those aliens' main way of getting points, is by latching on. So go, yeah, I'm running with you, I'm right behind you.
I got your back.
Yeah. Oh, I've got your back. So yeah, there's different ways of earning, as for the aliens, evolution points, and for the humans, I think it's survival points or something. And you have to live long enough until, I think it's escape pods are firing or something. Yeah, and you might be able to kill the other side, I don't know. I like the idea, it requires more friends than I have.
Yeah, seems like it'd be a fun party game, especially a fun drinking party game.
Oh yeah, if we can get enough copies, expect us to be streaming Jack drinking his homebrew cider there.
Yummy, yummy. All right, and next up, also on the 8th of May, Plague Hunter. Now, this one, in some respects... What's that?
A little bit on the nose?
Well, I guess kind of. This one, in some respects, reminded me of a game that I did a review for called Shadowbug. Mostly just because it's that contrast of, you know, what you're doing in the forefront is more like designed to look like a shadow. And then the background is lighter colors and whatnot, different shades of gray and other colors. But this one, it's like a 2D platformer. This one, it looks interesting. Dark fantasy style 2D platformer as you're playing this Plague Hunter that is running around, jumping from platform to platform, sword slashing through enemies and whatnot.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah. Some of the creatures that it looks like it runs into are very dangerous looking, actually.
Spiders. I think it's the visuals that kind of draws me to it as well. That the background is sort of telling the story or a story while you're moving through it. And I like this idea that, yeah, there was a plague and you're infected, again, and you have to take as many of them with you. Like, you don't stand any chance anyway. And even the creatures are just this black on background outline. It works really well. There's a few games where we've seen that work well. Unbound is one of them. They do it with some of the characters. Sorry. Yeah. I'm worried that the gameplay mechanics are too simple. He can shoot and he can slash his sword and that's it. I hope that grows through the game.
Well, he can jump too.
Yeah. Yes, jump. Yay. So what I've seen is not varied enough in terms of mechanics, but visually it looks really nice. And it's a old school gameplay, so that might be the explanation that there's as few moves as there was in games back in the old days. I'd look forward to this one. I would definitely pay attention to when it releases. Supposedly May 9th.
Well, and some of the bosses, or I should say the boss battles, it definitely looks like old school style 2D platformer type boss encounters. So, Did you see the one with the, is it a face that splits open? Yeah. Yeah, the eyes with the flaming lasers and...
Yeah. Oh, that one looks really cool. I mean, again, mechanically it looked boring, but I think once the face opens up, more gameplay mechanics show up, more challenges. So, and visually, again, yeah, beautiful. For a game that's done in about 7 colors and all of them gray-green, yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah. All right, well, and moving from that to the 14th of May, this one, I think you said you played a little bit of Nimbatus, the space drone constructor. One.
Yeah, Nimbatus and Nimbatus. Strafe on Studio. It had my interest because I'm a Kerbal Space Program player. Was at least. Waiting for the sequel. And KSP actually started out as a 2D game, not a 3D game. And this is down that same vein of a 2D, build your own craft, go out and do things. Except here you're building drones, you don't have anybody who needs to go in. And different planets, different levels, you either mine or you look for specific resources or you need to kill things without getting killed. And that's all good and well, but the core of the game is about constructing the drones and giving them some autonomy so you can sort of just let them loose. There are whole missions, maps, challenges, race tracks where you put your drone in and it's supposed to find its way on its own. And that had, yeah, I thought it would be fun. It wasn't. I'm sure to the right people it is. People who are sufficiently nerdy. It turns out I am not nerdy enough.
Okay.
Which is weird. But it's cool because you start with this little drone, you add more and more to it, and you add more and more complexity. The bigger it is, the heavier it is, the slower it flies, the more resources it takes. But the bigger it is, the more you can just do things that destroy. You can place more lasers on it. You can be physically more lasers, more flamethrowers. 3 different attack types, I think it is. Yeah, heat, energy, and bio, I think. And then that has to match the planet, has to match the enemies to do most damage. But 4th or 5th time I played it, where I built a drone, I ended up making a drone that just replicated small versions of itself, that just tore through the planet, and just destroyed everything. So I'm like, okay, I will just start the game, hold down space. If I go more than 10 seconds, my computer, which is an i7, 8th generation i7 Intel, it just burned to a crawl. It could not handle it. Because I kept it, you have 1, it becomes 2, it becomes 4, it becomes 8, it becomes 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1000. So once you duplicate it itself 10 times, you're at 1,000 drones flying around on the screen. Yeah, that was painful.
Yeah, I thought this might be something that Bam might enjoy since he liked audio so much, but from the way that you were describing having to actually build and program the drones, I don't know, his eyes might gloss over at the idea of that.
I think he would enjoy the flying and the fighting part. I don't think he will enjoy the programming part.
Yeah, I saw from some of the videos it looked like that there are certain objectives that you have to try and build the drone towards. So there was some areas that they were like drilling into a planet and being chased by enemies, but then when they got far enough down into the planet, there was a type of material that the laser drills could not get through, and then the drone was too big, so you had to build the drone to a specific width while still being able to defend yourself from behind all the enemies coming at you. And then there were other images I saw where it was like this massive centipede-style drone that somebody had built. Yeah, so I mean,
they get complex.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get this where you can discard part of your drone or whatever. So you will make part that can handle a bit of the map, and then another one that can handle another part, while at the same time every single part of your drone will have lasers and whatever to kill things.
Well, and this one's currently got an early access going. I guess it's going to release into full release on the 14th, and it's only $19.99 right now.
So I would definitely say if you're into any part of it, the flying, the shooting, the drone building, or the drone racing, the autonomous drone racing, get this. It is a good game, except the autonomous part really, that killed it for me. It's simplistic in its visuals.
Well, I would say the folks that are playing it, it's got mostly positive reviews on Steam right now. So the folks who've been playing it in early access seem to really have been enjoying it.
We were supposed to do a review, but I was just hitting my head on that autonomous drone programming, and I think I started it twice and just gave up. Sorry to Straightforward Studio and the PR company. But it is, at its core, it's a good, but it's an early game. I think this is a case where if they make a sequel, or if they make a new game with similar mechanics, it would take a lot of what they've learned and carry forward. So I don't think this has the longevity of a game like KSP. Which is, I can't even remember how many years that's been playing now. Goody. What's the next one? Tesla Force United Scientist Army. That sounds about as un-American as it gets.
Well, and you had complained about us not having enough games, or not having any games for console, but this is the second one on our list that's scheduled for release on console, or at least I saw somewhere where this was supposed to also come out on console as well as PC.
Just a note that early on there was only one game on the list, and Drag immediately vetoed it. Just one console game, and he went, nope, not doing that.
You gave me a list of like 30 games. I was just going through and looking at each game. I wasn't looking at where it was coming from. But yes, Tesla Force, it's got a much longer name, Tesla Force United Scientist Army. This one is, kind of a top-down, isometric. It looks like it mixes in stuff with, Tesla-type electrical mechanics as well as Cthulhu stuff, which I'm sure you're excited about.
Yeah, there's a big picture where you can see a squiddy behind some buildings. That's always off-putting.
So the levels, I guess, are kind of like randomly generated. This
is something you love. It's a roguelite.
Roguelites sometimes. Light sometimes. Roguelike or rogue, no, not so much. But whatever. But yeah, top-down, shooty. If you're into these types of games, in some ways, I guess I would almost say Diablo-esque, just because of the perspective and the massive amount of enemies. Looks like it can thrudge at times.
Yeah, I would, somewhere between Diablo and Brigador. How about that one? Because you are equipped with some mass destruction weapons and you're just shooting the heck out of things. And that's the fun part of Brigador, and I think that would be the fun part in this one. It's just chopping down things. And see how far you can get, how many levels you can get to in procedural maps. And they seem fairly diverse. There's some outdoor maps, some farm maps, some what looks like a city-ish thing.
And I did see where this was listed as possibly coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. I haven't been able to confirm that yet, though, so the only thing that we have been able to confirm is that it's due out on the 20th of May on Steam.
Confirm. Yeah. Supposedly coming out May 20. Scheduled.
Scheduled.
Poor Jack, it's late over there in the San Diegos.
So the next one is one you said you threw on for BAM, but this one kind of itches the back of my brain a little bit. It's an old school graphics, kind of pixelated graphics, 2D platformer called Biomass, and this one is scheduled to come out on the 26th of May, and it's got some
27 now.
Oh well, Steam still says 26.
Here it says 27. Regionals. You get it on the 26th, I get it on the 27th. Okay.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that it would do that sometimes. Okay, so anyway, depending on where in the world you are, the 26th or the 27th. But you're playing, in some ways you're kind of a gunslinger, I guess, but in other ones, sword fighter, because you have what they're calling beam sabers, because I guess they didn't want to go lightsaber for semi-obvious reasons. But it's in a futuristic, kind of dystopian, cyberpunky style, almost. Post-apocalyptic kind of thing. Some of the sound effects and stuff for this were really great, but this really takes me back as far as the way that the characters have been designed and the way that they look. Yeah, like, it's way back. Almost... I'd almost say Atari... in some respects, but still looks way better than the old Atari games did.
Yeah.
As far as,
the way I refer to it is, it sort of looks like the way you remember the old games. It sort of looks like you would remember early 16-bit games.
Yeah.
But not how they looked, how you remember them. Rose-tinted glasses and all that.
Yeah, but it looks like it could be some fun. I don't know.
Yeah. I only put it in because of the name, and here's the thing: we've had it on the list before.
Oh, we have. I don't remember us mentioning
it's been rescheduled.
Okay.
Months and months and months. Sometime I think about a year ago, even it was supposed to come out, and it didn't. So we have it again on the list.
That's funny because, well, if you've been around long enough, or you stick around long enough, you'll know that my memory doesn't count for much. So there's no surprise to G that I don't remember.
And you hear him literally when he tries to count 1, 2, 3, and then he forgets where he was.
I had a good buddy of mine that used to describe it as the attention span of a gnat.
I've seen some seriously persistent nets.
That have more of an attention span?
Yeah.
All right.
So, no, it looks like a fun enough game. Platforming, run around, hitting things with your not lightsaber. Yeah, why not? But there's some very Japanese-inspired visuals in the game. Take that as you want.
Alright, and the last one we have on our list doesn't have a specific scheduled release date, but it is scheduled sometime in May. This is more one that I think is probably... I'd say this is for you, maybe even for Grit. I think you guys would enjoy this kind of thing, but Polybridge 2...
I think Bam could like this. So Polybridge, if anybody's probably seen GIFs of weird-ass bridges where people just race cars in and they fly over and the whole thing collapses, but the car makes it over. One car. And that's sort of what it is. So you have to build these weird-ass bridges that are supposed to get you from point A to B, sometimes point A to B to C. And they have to survive a vehicle going over them. That's really it.
What's kind of funny about this kind of thing is I remember doing a project like this in woodworking class when I was in, was it junior high, I think it was, where we had, out of balsa wood, we had to build bridges, and then they would stress test and weight test the bridges to see how long the bridge would survive. But now you can do it in a computer game, and it's infinitely replayable.
We did it in paper. So we were handed paper and a bit of tape, so A4 paper, and we were building buildings, and had to see how much the building could hold and how artistic. So we made giant towers. In one sitting, we won both the award for the highest building and the strongest building, because we basically just made all the paper into triangles, and then triangles upon triangles upon triangles. Now this happened, junior high was, I think, would be a little bit earlier, because the way it was tested weight-wise was with a beer. So one teacher had wrapped a string around the head of a beer and just kind of hung it in the various constructed. Yeah, it holds a beer. It's strong enough. And when he got over to us, we already hung a beer in there because we knew what we'd done. So he goes in and hangs the other one. Yeah, it still holds.
Well, and they the first game sold for $9.99. So while I can't say for sure that Polybridge 2 will be $9.99, I'd say it's probably going to be somewhere in that neighborhood, or at least that's my best guess.
And it looks like the reason to get the sequel is that they redone the physics, they redone a lot of the graphics and mechanics, but it's basically more of the same, just severely improved upon. It's gonna be fun, I think. Build a bridge as cheaply as you can and make it work once.
Alright, and on that note, that wraps up our top 10 indie games for May. Hopefully you find something in that list that is of interest to you, or multiple things. And, in the meantime, if you've liked what you've seen here, give us a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, make sure to leave them in the section below, and we greatly appreciate you checking us out.
And meanwhile, remember to buy some indie games, right?
Yeah.
Like, Minecraft.
I know why you mentioned that, because Minecraft Dungeons comes out the end of May, but, yeah, I'll be playing that one.
Yeah. Good.
Alright, adios.